Hello, and welcome to the Chassidus for Mothers series. We are in Chaf Zayin Elul, only 3 days before Rosh Hashanah, and today we're going to be learning the Maamar of tiku bachodesh shofar, which is from Sefer Maamarim, Chelek Aleph. So that year, 5747, like this year, Rosh Hashanah fell on Shabbos, and there was no Tkiyah Shofar on the first day. So the Maamar begins with the words tiku bachodesh shofar v'kesel yom chageinu. Blow the shofar on the first of the month, the new moon, on the appointed day for our festival. So the word bakesa means hidden. It refers to the first day of the month when the moon is hidden. The word kesa is spelled case hey, meaning that the letter Hey of Hashem's name, which represents Hashem's Malchus, is concealed. At the beginning of each year, Hashem radiates a certain amount of energy to last for the whole year. And as the year goes by, this energy gets used up, so to speak. So the battery is going down, down, down until almost to zero. And then on Rosh Hashanah, the world gets an infusion of new energy. So we are the key for giving the world this infusion. So the Malchut of Hashem gets hidden, it gets concealed, the energy is low, and then we come and we give the world this infusion of energy. And how do we do this? We call the kingship of Hashem out of hiding by saying, Hashem, we are here for you, we are ready, we want to accept you as king. So by us saying to Hashem, be the king over us, that brings the Malchus out of hiding. So the world is like in a state of suspended animation. It's a very low energy state, and it's waiting for us to make our move. So how do we make this move? How do we bring the Malchus of Hashem out of hiding? The way to do that is through taking a stand, making a commitment. The word tiku bachodesh shofar, has the same root of takua, which means to plant something in the ground, like take a stake and stick it in the ground. We need to take a stand, commit ourselves, be firm, be consistent, show up, to show we know how it feels when we're doing something and we're not really committed to it. It feels like a drag. We can barely schlep ourselves through the day. But when we plant ourselves on the ground, I make up my mind, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm committed to. Then all of a sudden we have this chayis, we have this passion, we have this enjoyment in doing it. And it doesn't feel burdensome. So this also connects with the words tiku bachodesh shofar. The Baal Shem Tov connects the word bachodesh to the idea of chadash, that every time we do a mitzvah, it should feel like new. Now, this doesn't only refer to the mitzvah of shofar. It actually refers to all the mitzvahs that we do, because the whole idea of Tamlichuni Aleichem Melech is we're accepting Hashem as our king. We're being mekabel on ourselves the all mach shamayim. We're accepting Hashem's kingship, which means we're committing ourselves to do all the mitzvahs. So the idea is mechadash, that it should feel like a new thing, where every time we do a mitzvah, should have this freshness, this newness, and this excitement. And this is connected to the idea of taking a stand, committing ourselves firmly. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care what anyone else thinks. This is coming from within. It's coming within me. I am making a strong attachment, a commitment to accept Hashem as my king. And when we're all in and we're fully committed, then every day we feel this energy. It's not someone else is making me do it, or I'm feeling pressure from this side and that side, and I'm not sure where I really stand. When I make a strong stance within myself, then I feel that chadash, I feel that constant renewal and excitement. And this concept of finding freshness and newness and arbeida and every day is also related to the idea that Hashem is constantly recreating the world from new every moment. Whenever we experience something for the first time, it feels fresh and new and miraculous. If you recall the experience of giving birth to your first child, wow, what a miracle. Or I remember when cell phones first came out, and it was so miraculous. I mean, you have this phone and you can carry it in your pocket, and there's no cord, and unlimited minutes, and you can call anywhere in the world, and it's just so miraculous. And then, it was like the only thing that it could do was make phone calls. And, then more and more versions came out that could do more and more different things. But we're at a point now where, okay, yeah, I mean, I have a cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone. It's no big deal. So the first thing when something comes into the world, it feels very fresh. It feels very new. It feels like a big miracle. And then when it keeps happening consistently, we just say it's teva. So the only difference between nes and teva is that nes is something that only happens, very rarely. So then we say, wow, it's a miracle. But when something happens each and every day, we say, okay, and then we'll go and we'll research and we'll find some kind of law of nature that we can use to explain it. But the truth is, that's the only difference between a nes and teva. That nes is something that only happens once or rarely, and teva is something that constantly happens. So when we have this realization that Hashem is recreating the world from fresh every single moment, it really is all new, then we have that sense of newness and freshness in our service of Hashem every single day. Now, there's another meaning of the word kesa in the pasuk Kesa liyem chagenu, which means a set time. This is the set time for our chag to appoint Hashem as our king. As we know, the world was not actually created on Rosh Hashanah. The world was actually created on Chav Hei Elul. That was the first day of creation. The day that Hashem said, Hashem brought everything into being in a potential state, and then we went to the 6 days of creation. And what was created on the 6th day, the last final thing to be created was Adam. So the reason that we celebrate Rosh Hashanah on the 6th day of creation, not the first day, is because the whole world was waiting for Adam to come into being so that he could recognize Hashem, he could turn to Hashem, and that's how the Malchus of Hashem was brought out and expressed and came down into the world. So this same thing repeats itself every single year. The Malchus of Hashem retreats, it goes into hiding, so to speak, towards the end of the day at Erev Rosh Hashanah, and it's waiting for us to draw it back in the world. And this is a reason why Adam was created as one single person, because it's to teach us that it's waiting for you. It is waiting, the whole world is waiting for you to acknowledge Hashem, for you to recognize. I have to make my move to recognize Hashem and bring Hashem into my world, my corner of the universe, my home, because that's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants to have a dir b'tachteinim, a home that's within the boundaries of time and space, an ordinary physical home in this finite bounded universe, to be a home for his infinite light. And that means my home, that means your home. It means no matter what my house looks like, it's not, okay, well, Hashem wants to be in the nicest palace. So when I live in a nice palace, that's when I can bring Hashem in. But right now, when my circumstances are not so great, how can I bring Hashem into my circumstances right now? No, Hashem put you in those circumstances because this is the world where Hashem wants to be right now, my circumstances right now. So we each have to feel, just like Adam was created alone, we each are alone in the universe. I alone have to bring Hashem's malchus in the world. The world is waiting for me personally to bring Hashem, to crown Hashem as king. And this is what it means, B'kesa l'yom chagenu. There is a set time for the malchus of Hashem to be restored, to come out of hiding. The way I show up on Rosh Hashanah, the way I prepare myself, I open myself up to let Hashem into my life. So how do we do this? It's because Hashem is hiding, B'kesa, so we have to remove those barriers and concealments, the kesa, that prevent that awareness of Hashem from entering. So we have all these defenses, we have our ego, we have a lot of stories that we're attached to about the way the world works, the way things should be, the way that I can only serve Hashem under certain circumstances. It can't be that Hashem is waiting to come into me and my life and my world. We have all these stories that we invent, that we create in our minds. And when we get rid of those illusions, that's when we're fully able to embrace Hashem. We're fully able to feel and experience the unlimited brachas from Hashem. Now, the Rebbe says that sometimes people do have physical barriers that prevent them from being able to experience Elikus in their life. If a person is very weak, if a person is very sick, and Hashem has to take away the barriers from that person, you should give him a refuah shalema, and he should have his full strength, and even more than his full strength, and come back even stronger than before, so that he is able to feel the Elikus in his life. So this idea of breaking through the barriers, breaking through our ego, is represented by the trua, which means the literal meaning of the word trua is to shatter, to break through. There's a passing tilim to draying b'shevet barzal. It's speaking about Hashem's enemies. He will shatter them with an iron rod. So when we blow shofar, in a sense, what we're doing is we're blowing away the barriers of the world. And this is why we don't blow shofar on Shabbos, because the whole concept of breaking or refining the world does not apply on Shabbos. We're not allowed to do bayra, which means we don't do avodas habirurim on Shabbos. So bayra means to pick out the bad from the good. If you're eating your plate and you notice a brown piece of lettuce in your salad, you're not allowed to take out the brown piece of lettuce. You have to just eat around it, because we can't do bayra. So this also applies to avodas habirurim. On Shabbos, the world does not need to be corrected or fixed or repaired. It becomes elevated to a higher plane. But do you know where they did blow the shofar? That was in the Beis Hamikdash. In the Beis Hamikdash, they did blow the shofar even on Shabbos. So how come in the Beis Hamikdash they were able to blow the shofar? Because in the Beis Hamikdash, the world was already in a state where it didn't need any birur. So blowing the shofar did not blow away the world. It didn't break down anything. It only drew a higher level into the world, and the world was already ready for it. So until the world is perfected, we have to go step by step, stage by stage. You can't go too quickly. You can't move too fast, or you overwhelm the world. Everyone knows, if you've ever taught a class, you have to introduce concepts, first simple concepts, and then you build it. There's different ages, different stages. When it comes to different types of food, the kind of food that we feed to an infant or a 2-year-old is not the same as we feed to an older child. And same thing with the behavior that we expect. We expect different behaviors from a toddler or a 5-year-old than from a high schooler. So depending on the age and the stage, there's different expectations. There's different amounts of light, of insight that we can expect. So once the world is already perfected, once it's reached its highest level, then we can blow the shofar even on Shabbos, and it's not breaking through anything because the world is already ready to absorb that higher level. But in a sense, even though Bisman Hazeh, in our days, we don't blow the shofar on Shabbos, we're still drawing from the same energy that came into the world in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. That energy was not drawn only in that particular time and space, but for all of space, all of time. To this day, when we daven Musaf on Rosh Hashanah and we say the Psukim, Malchiyos, Sechreinos, Shofros, we're drawing down that same energy that was in the Beis Hamikdash when they blew the shofar on Shabbos. When Hashem gave the command to Moshe to build a Mishkan, he said, "Va'asu li mikdash v'shachanti b'seicham." Remember, it doesn't say b'seichai, I will dwell in it, but I will dwell in them. I will dwell within each and every Jew. So that Mishkan that was built by Moshe is still alive. It's still there within each and every one of us. Anything that was built by Moshe will last forever. So we all have a spark of the neshama of Moshe within us. We have a Mishkan within us. We have an Aron Kodesh within us. And Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, so we have the power to raise up the physical world to a level even higher than it was in the time of the Beis Hamikdash and reveal Hashem's kingship in this world. Because the ultimate of our Aveda is when the physicality of the world itself should show its divine source. After the Tkiyas, we say the pasuk, Allah Alikim Bisruah, Hashem B'kol Shofar. Through our Shua, we raise up the name of Elikim, which is the aspect of Hashem that's invested in the physical world. And then Elikim rises and joins with Hashem to show that Havaya and Elikim are one. The energy of Hashem that's within the world, that's Elikim. The energy that's beyond the world is Shem Havaya. We show that they are one and the same. And this causes an elevation in both the names Havaya and Elikim. And all this elevation and all the upper universes is all due to us through bringing awareness and recognition of Hashem down here in this world. And through this, we will naturally all have a good Keven and merit to hear the Shofar of Mashiach immediately now. So just short and simple, Hashem is waiting for all of us to get past our defenses and invite him in to our lives.